Much loved and often parodied, Heritage Minutes are themselves a Canadian classic. Since being revived about a decade ago, around 20 new episodes have been created, and the makers are all set to release new ones this year.
In order to be in a minute, it's got to be about a person and or event who has helped create Canada in the way that we are today, has in some way contributed to that. It can be good and it can be bad, by the way. It can also be a tough incident in Canadian history.
The CEO of Historica Canada, the charitable organization behind Heritage Minutes, says a tremendous amount of work goes into creating those 60 seconds.
We have a team here of people who research even before an idea is approved, we have to be sure that the idea is pretty bulletproof. In other words, we know that there's enough details to feel comfortable in truth telling that story. Then we work with the production company that we choose, and then our researchers go through as we prepare the script and make sure we can substantiate everything. I think we right down to costumes, the way people spoke.
Budgets can be as high as $300,000, and professional Canadian companies are hired for the projects that can take up to a year to complete. Currently, they're looking for a production company to produce a video about an iconic Chinese Canadian.
We're going to do a minute on Normie Kwong, who was the first Chinese Canadian to play professional football, played for Calgary and Edmonton in the Canadian Football League. We've also never done one on the CFL before, which of course is a unifying force across Canada. And he was just an outstanding person, football player, and later Lieutenant Governor of Alberta, so a really remarkable life as well.
That's in keeping with their efforts to tell stories that reflect the diversity of the country.
For a very long time, Canadian history was really only told through the eyes of specific groups of people, the people who are running the country. Well, you know, the people at kind of ground level are the ones who are just as interesting and often shape it. A black civil rights pioneer, Indigenous people, you know, whose people were here before anybody else. The other thing we now do is that the company that is producing for us has to have people who are from the specific community of whom the minute is making about it. In other words, if it's a movie about a black Canadian, we want key creative people to be from that community.
And while they hope to expand people's understanding of Canadian history, there's only so much you can squeeze into 1 minute.
People will sometimes say, I know everything I know about Canadian history I learned from Heritage Minutes, and frankly, I usually say, if that's all you know, you don't know enough. What we're trying to do is open a door. 60 seconds will never tell you everything you need to know, but it may cause you to say, I got to find out more about this. I got to go read some books. I got to go watch some other movies. I got to just kind of walk through that door and get immersed in it.
The next Heritage Minute is expected to be released in April, and it's about a multicultural community in BC in the 1900s. For City News, I'm Dilshad Burman.